Yeah, Shalom Israel. Before I start, I want to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Bahara Kakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles in Israel who will and teach all, to the Akims on the highways and byways, and those pushing this word in truth, sincerity, to the brothers and sisters in the truth. Now, just want to touch on something quickly, Lord willing. It is edifying, but we're on a walk, and this walk is to help us get ourselves prepared or put ourselves in a state which is acceptable to the Lord, to Yahweh when his sons return. And the way that is done is through this word. We are corrected through the word. We are showed how to walk through the word. But this is normally done through us watching lessons, seeing lessons from brothers that are online, that put lessons up online. And there's times where we might see a lesson, from a brother we have no connection to. The Lord has put in their spirit to touch on a specific topic, and you're listening to that lesson and you think to yourself, right, you know what, that's speaking about me right now. Like, this is what I need to do. These things happen, and when a lesson like that comes out and it hits home, we're really meant to take note of it, because at the end of the day, we ask the Lord to purify us, to refine us, to make us acceptable to him. And he's going to do that through various ways. And one of those ways is through lessons, and sometimes when you see a lesson by someone who you may know, now this is speaking a bit more specific, like I've got various brothers around me that I know, if they do a lesson and the lesson hits home, a wise thing would be to acknowledge that lesson and make the correct adjustments in our lives so that, we can progress. That's what this walk is about. It speaks about in Proverbs 4:7, that light that shineth more and more unto that perfect day. So we're meant to be progressing and improving on our walk. And the Lord will do that at times through brothers making lessons. And sometimes we can, this is speaking on if a lesson is done by someone that you can get offended by it. But a wise person will actually think, well, is that lesson actually there? Is there something in that lesson that I can learn from? Sometimes we have to learn to get out of our feelings when we're watching certain lessons and just apply the teaching that is showed in that lesson. And this is what the word does. The word convict us. It's meant to convict us so that we can get ourselves right. Or sometimes the word will uplift us as well. A brother will bring out a lesson and it uplifts your spirit. But the flip side to that is a brother can bring out a lesson and it convicts you in your spirit. And that's the Lord actually using that brother, to help you get yourself right, to keep you on the track that he wants you to be on. Now, that word convicted, it says, I read what it says. It says, what is the meaning of conviction in the Bible? It says, when a person sins and they are made aware of it by the Holy Spirit, and that spirit could be working through a brother doing a lesson to convict your spirit on an area where you might need to tighten up on. It says this is called conviction. Conviction comes from the spirit through the conscience informed by the Most High's word. And ultimately from, the scriptures are being brought out and it's convicting us, then it behooves us to actually make use of the edification that we're getting. Sometimes because it's coming from someone that we might know, and that's going to be very rare in many of the cases, because most of the people on that watches this channel don't know me, but there's a few that do. And at times me personally, I will bring out a lesson at times based upon situations that is happening around me. Now, I try not to personify it, you know, make it that, I try to make it more general, because at the end of the day, the Bible is a book that speaks on real life situations. It shows us how to or how not to deal with certain situations. So we should be able to do lessons on real life events, which should help the viewer and also me um, improve on the walk that we're doing. Because every lesson that I do, really and truly, the first person that it should apply to or should be taking heed to it is myself. So certain lessons that come out, if it is convicting you, then it will make sense to take heed to what's being said. As the saying goes, if the cap fits, wear it. And more time, you know people will take offense from a lesson done by someone they know, believing that it's actually about them. But no, the Lord's put on their spirit to do a lesson on a specific situation, and it's to help the individual and even probably the one that's doing the lesson to improve on their walk. Because, like I always say, the first person that I should be teaching is myself. So it says, when a conviction, where's the meaning of conviction? The Bible says, when a person sins and they're made aware of it by the Holy Spirit, this is called conviction. Conviction comes from the Spirit through the conscience, informed by the Most High's word, and that's what really convicts us. The word, which is meant to do. It's meant to convict us in areas where there's room for improvement, so that we can improve. The long and short of it, the Most High actually wants us to do well. It says the Spirit also uses other people to bring conviction, and that's going back to what I was speaking about regarding lessons. The Lord may put it, and I've seen, there's been situations where I've done a lesson, then I've watched another two brothers, and they're speaking on the same topic, like brothers that I don't even know, or one of them I might know, whatever it is. That's how the Spirit works. It will convict brothers to bring out certain lessons, and really and truly, that is to edify the body, to help us on our walk. So if a lesson comes out and the cap fits, especially when it's not done in malice, because we do understand that some brothers would do lessons in malice to get back at someone else or whatever, but I try not to do that. I try every lesson that I bring out, especially if someone has done me wrong, I try to use that situation to edify us as a whole and to benefit me as well. Like, it should be something that I should be able to watch back as it's like a standard viewer and be edified from it. So this is Ephesians 4 and 11 says, and he gave some apostles and some prophets and some evangelists and some pastors and some teachers for what? It says, for the perfecting of the saints. So when brothers are bringing out lessons, this is what it should be for. We shouldn't be bringing out lessons in malice to get back at someone else. We should be bringing out lessons to help perfect the saints and, perfect yourself, because we're hoping that, I speak for myself, I'm hoping that I am one of those saints. I am one of those persons that will be saved. So any lessons that I make, I should be able to sit back, watch it, and gain something from it. We don't want to be doing lessons in malice. We want to be doing lessons, says, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry. Yeah. It says, for the edifying of the body of the Mashiach. That's what our lesson should be. And if a lesson is convicting you and the cap fits, wear it, man. Use it to your benefit. Use it to get yourself right. Don't be upset and getting feelings. Use it to your benefit, man. This is John 8, and I'll start at 1. Let's read down and get some context. Yahushua went onto the Mount of Olives, And early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they said unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. And to be honest, they were going off from the word go, in the sense that adultery, it takes two to tango. And what did they do? They just brought the woman. It says they said unto him, Master, this woman is taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned, but what sayest thou? And they were trying to catch Yahushua out, as they were always doing. It says this, they said, they're tempting him that they might have to accuse him. But Yahushua stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him cast the first stone. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience. Yeah. So when certain lessons are brought out and we may feel a way about it, this is what's happening. Our own conscience is convicting us. It says, and they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last, and the Yahushua was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. And this is what lessons do, man. Lessons are there to edify you, to help you on your walk, and to help perfect yourself, as it says, for the perfecting of the saints. And one of the way it helps to perfect us is us being convicted by certain lessons that we hear. Now, a wise person will acknowledge the conviction and make the correction in their walk. This is Sirach 18:27 says, a wise man will fear in everything. And in the day of sinning, he will be aware of offense. Why? Because his spirit is going to convict him. Yeah. When you're doing something wrong, your spirit should convict you. If you see a lesson and it's touching you a certain way, from that lesson isn't done in malice. And sometimes your own thoughts, because you're wrong, will make you think a lesson is done in malice when it probably wasn't. It's the Lord put the spirit on a Pacific brother to bring out a lesson. And that normally touches us in regards to it being malice when it's someone close to us. Because, sisters can teach other sisters. So when certain sisters might be bringing out certain things, if it's someone that you might think, they're trying to be bad mind. That might not be the case. It's just the Lord helping, using the sister to bring out a point that you need to improve on, that you need to tighten up. Same way with the brothers. The Lord might be using a brother to bring out a point that you need to tighten up on. So it says, a wise man will fear in everything, and in the day of sinning, he will be aware of offense. But a fool would not observe time. Yeah, someone who's a fool, in this sense, they'll take it the wrong way. They'll get even more offended and then disregard the correction that the Lord is bringing. One of the brothers, Yasharallah, he made a statement which has always stuck with me. And that is, we ask the Lord to help us in certain areas, to get better in certain areas. And he's not going to wave a wand. What he's going to do is put situations in your way to help you improve on those areas that you're seeking to improve on. And it's the same, he'll put lessons out there to help us improve on our walk. And if the cap fits, man, just wear it, man. Use it to your benefit. And if you don't, this is Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 13. It says, whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed. If you despise a lesson that is actually convicting you, we all know where we're faltering, where we're falling short. If we've done something wrong, we feel it, man. I feel it. Like I'm no different to anyone else. It says, whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed, but he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. Because what? The cap's gonna fit. You're gonna take heed to the lesson, and make the necessary changes. But that's what I wanted to touch on, man. Don't be I wonder if that actually, I don't know if you saw those scriptures I was reading. It's lucky if you didn't, but it is what it is. But yeah, don't be afraid, to be corrected through lessons. It's the Lord actually helping us on our walk so that we can improve. And as it says in Proverbs 4:18, that light that shineth more unto that perfect day. But Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. With that, I'm going to close out. Give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushai, the heart of Kadash, Allah.